would you do if every person in your town suddenly pretended someone you love never existed? Not missing, not dead, just erased like they were never there. I wish I had ignored the signs earlier. But small towns teach you to accept things you don't understand. I grew up in Miller's Creek, a quiet place where nothing ever really happens. And that's exactly why what I'm about to tell you still doesn't make sense to me. It started with my younger sister, Lena. She was 17, loud, always laughing, the kind of person everyone knew. She had this habit of knocking 3 times on my door before coming in, like it was some private joke between us, and I never thought that detail would be the thing that kept me awake at night. One evening, she went out like usual, said she'd be back before midnight. Nothing strange, nothing unusual. But she didn't come home. At first, I didn't panic, because this is a small town. People feel safe here, or at least we pretend to. The next morning, my mother was making breakfast, humming softly like everything was normal. I asked where Lena was, and she paused just for a second before turning to me with a confused expression and said, "Who are you talking about?" I laughed because I thought she was joking, but her face stayed serious. My father didn't even look up from his newspaper. He just said, "Eat your food before it gets cold." Like I hadn't just asked about his daughter. Something inside me shifted at that moment, something cold and heavy. I ran to Lena's room, expecting to prove them wrong. But the second I opened the door, I felt it. The room was wrong, too clean, too empty. Her clothes were gone, posters gone. Even the smell of her perfume had vanished like it had never been there. I checked my phone with shaking hands, scrolling through photos, messages, anything. But her name wasn't there anymore. Entire conversations replaced by blank spaces, like something had been carefully removed. I ran outside, knocking on neighbors' doors, asking about her. But every single person reacted the same way, polite confusion, mixed with unease, like I was saying something I shouldn't even know. By noon, I went to the police station, my heart racing, trying to explain that my sister was missing. The officer listened patiently before checking the records and telling me in a calm voice that I was registered as an only child. He even showed me the documents, like that would help. I left the station feeling like the ground wasn't real anymore, like I was the one disappearing. Days passed, and I stopped mentioning Lena, because every time I did, people looked at me like I was unstable. Whispers started following me through the town, people lowering their voices when I walked by. But I knew what I remembered. I knew she was real. Every night, the house felt heavier, like it was holding something it shouldn't. And then it happened around 3:07 am. I heard it, 3 slow knocks on my bedroom door. Not loud, not soft, just intentional. My entire body froze because I knew that pattern better than anything. I sat there staring at the door, unable to breathe as the silence stretched. Then the knocks came again, slower, this time almost impatient. I forced myself to speak, my voice barely coming out, and asked, "Who's there?" For a moment, there was nothing. And then I heard it, her voice, soft, familiar, but wrong in a way I can't fully explain.
"Is anyone there?"
She said,
"Let me out."
"Why is nobody remembering me?" My chest tightened. because it sounded exactly like Lena. But there was something underneath. It's something hollow, like it was echoing from somewhere deep. And empty I stood up, without thinking, my body moving on its own, toward the door, each step heavier. Then the last, my hand reached for the handle. And just before I touched it, I noticed the shadow under the door. It wasn't shaped like a person. It was stretched uneven, like it was bending in ways that didn't make sense. Like whatever was standing there wasn't alone, or wasn't fully human anymore. I stepped back slowly, my heart pounding louder than the silence. And the second I moved away, the knocking stopped completely. No footsteps, no sound, just nothing. The next morning I tried to convince myself it was a dream, but deep down I knew it wasn't. And then things got worse. Small details started changing around the house. Family photos shifting slightly, objects moving from where I remembered them, like something was rewriting reality piece by piece. I started hearing whispers late at night, not words, exactly, more like fragments, trying to form something. Sometimes I'd wake up and feel like someone had been standing beside my bed watching me. And every night at exactly 3:07, the knocking came back. Always 3 times, always the same rhythm. And sometimes I hear her voice again, asking the same question over and over. Why is nobody remembering me? A few nights ago, I did something I shouldn't have. I answered her. I told her, I remember you, Lena. I never forgot. And for the first time, the silence after the knocks didn't feel empty. It felt closer, like whatever was on the other side heard me clearly. The handle moved slightly, just a small movement, but enough to make my blood run cold. I haven't slept since then, because now I don't think she's trying to come back. I think she's trying to take my place. And the question that keeps repeating in my head every time I hear those 3 knocks is something I still can't answer. If everyone forgot she ever existed, then what exactly did I just speak to on the other side of that door? And if you heard those same 3 knocks on your door tonight, and a voice you love asked you to open, would you do it? Or would you pretend you never heard it at all?